I live such a Twilight Zone existence and always have, that I wouldn't be a bit surprised that if I get a message from Auntie, like, on the phone, you know, Laura, I know that the doctor said this or that to your mom and threatened to put her back on the lithium, and I know she fell in the shower and hit her head, but there's no need for you to leave angry messages on her social worker's machine. He didn't do it, and, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. That's a Twilight Zone existence. Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. I said she needs to stay the fuck away from me. I'm not contacting the social worker for no goddamn reason. This is serious shit. Just because Auntie likes to make light of everything, you know? Her little, well, she's in there now, Laura, and we have to make the best of it. No, you could get her out right now, just like you swore, you said if she was in that other, if they had sent her that other place. You know, there's no reason that she was sent to, that's why I have to find my mom an advocate, that's all. Find her an advocate, report everything's going on, find her an advocate. Because Auntie's not an advocate, and there's no reason these assholes at this hospital, if we expressly said, don't send my mom back to the hospital where they put her on a drug that caused her to nearly die, then you listen to us. You know? You listen to us. You don't just do what you want to do just because you happen to not be able to reach Auntie. You didn't even try me, but you know what I mean? Auntie told me that's what happened. Because I'm like, well, why would they do that? We told them not to. You told them not to. I told them not to. And she's like, well, they tried to reach me this morning and the phone. So what? They tried to reach her to find out what our reservations were, why we didn't want her sent back to that hospital. And when they couldn't find out, they just went and did what they wanted to do. I can't believe a mental hospital. I've never asked my mom about other mental hospitals, but she's drugged out of her mind, and I can't believe there's not bars or something, because people who are drugged out of their mind are not, you know, she's not the brightest bulb anyway, and she's 70 years old, and if she's drugged out of her mind, she definitely can fall. But how heartbreaking that I got the phone call from her. She didn't remember. She hadn't even told me this. Laura, please don't say anything. So-and-so's being really nice to me now, and I don't want to get her into trouble. Of course I'm going to say something, Mom. The next time you could die. And I'm sorry I didn't use the correct term, you stupid asshole, the nurse who answered. He's like, well, she didn't smash her head. All right, I'm sorry, she hit her head. She still fell and hit her head. I'm sorry if I don't use the correct word in your, you know. It's still, she fell and hit her head and had to cry out for help and have people come in there when she's totally naked. You know, that's a big deal. She's 70 years old and drugged to high heavens. That's a big deal. I don't care what Auntie thinks. It's a big fucking deal. I don't care what any of you think either. That is a big deal, and I don't fucking care what any of you think, and I don't care what you think of me leaving angry messages on the social worker's machine. I also just called the nurse. I wanted to see if they would verify it, and he didn't deny it at least. It is a big deal. It's a huge deal, actually. I could have been finding out instead and I wouldn't know, actually, that my mom was rushed to the hospital. Auntie does have the home phone, but Lord knows if she even wrote down the number. You'd think she would. I gave her the home phone, you know, in case you ever need to reach me and I'm watching TV, this will show up on the TV, you know, etc., etc. I gave her the home phone number. regardless, I could, you know, it is a big deal. It's a big deal even if it happened to me. I was always afraid in the shelter, in the shower. There's nothing to hold on to. You know, but at least I'm young and you know, in shape, and you know what I mean? My mom's frail, she's 70 years old. And she says to me, remember that time when I couldn't get out of our tub or whatever? But Mom, this is different. That time you couldn't get out of our tub, you didn't fall and hit your head, number one. And number two, you weren't drugged out of your mind. Patients in mental hospitals, there's got to be precautions. There's got to be extra precautions for somebody my mom's age who's really, really drugged up. It's undeniable. I can tell how drugged up she is. And she's not very sharp without being drugged up, you know? That had to be terrifying for her, huh? To fall all naked and have to cry for help. I used to imagine it happened to me in the shelter shower. I was scared because I have real long legs, and to bend down and have to, or to try to shave and stuff is scary. I'm wondering now if their showers have those things on the bottom. Told you it's a low-class hospital. And the thing is, my mom is, again, she's not the brightest bulb in the bush anyway, and she doesn't want to cause troubles. They don't even want to give her a friggin' stevia when she asks for it, you know. I actually started off with that the other day. It was very simple, you know, please, you know, tell your staff to give my mom, you know, she's, to not give her a hard time and give her a stevia. I don't want her having so much sugar. I wasn't even thinking about her cereal, and she puts a lot out. I don't want her having so much sugar. No, she doesn't eat sugar at home at all. I mean, packets and coffee or cereal, whatnot. And that was like no big deal, you know. I'm begging you, just please do this for her. And then we progressively get worse. I find out worse and worse things than them not wanting to bother to give her a stevia and saying, you know, whatever. They're busy, or they'll just tell her we don't know where it is or whatnot. Probably just they don't feel like getting it, and then I'm thinking she's not going to do anything with it. Let her keep a couple packets or a couple extra packets in her pocket or something. You know, simple. And then I had to leave an angry, justifiably angry message. The former doctor's taunting her, saying, I'm going to try to get you back on the drug that nearly sent you into kidney failure. That's disrespectful. It's abuse to someone helpless. And now I hear that last night my undeniably drugged up mom. I'm sorry, but somebody that drugged up, you got to take more precautions than you do with someone less drugged up. She's really, really drugged up, people. She wasn't like this before when she was on that lithium or whatnot, because this doctor has the brilliant idea of just drugging her to high heavens, and that will to get her stable or something. I don't know. Social worker gave me some bullshit like that. I don't trust him in there. I don't trust him not to retaliate against my mom because I'm upset. I just don't trust them. And I hate that I have to hear from my mom, Laura, please don't say anything about me falling in the shower and hitting. You never told me anything about you falling in the shower and hitting me your head till right now. And she's like, oh, I didn't, and then, of course I'm going to say something. She's a child. She wants them to like her. She doesn't want to get them into trouble. I want to protect her from, something really bad happening to her. And if it winds up a lawsuit or something, because at this point I'm really upset, I want to see if I get messages from her, but that she tells me everything. If they do say stuff to her, like, what'd you say that for? What'd you tell on us for or something? I don't trust them. She's 70 years old and really drugged up. They've got to have more precautions with her than with somebody who's not that old and not as drugged up. I'm not, this is not my anger issues coming to the story. I think I'm going to do a little deceit of my own on my own end and not answer this phone anymore. I'd rather her leave messages so I can know what's going on. And then I can, if I hear the phone, instead of picking it up like I've been doing, I'll let her leave messages and then I'll call her right back. See, that way I can find out more that I have documented. Too bad it's come to this, huh? But it has. I'm hearing progressively worse things. First, it's just, they can't be bothered to get her a stevia that I made a point of bringing to her when Auntie and I went and saw her in the social. You know what I mean? Then it's like, oh yeah, well that's not a huge deal, but I'd appreciate if you'd try to make it not be happening that they want to give her a hard time about getting it or get to the bottom of it, whatever, no big deal. Then the next thing and the next thing, progressively worse. I don't want her in there, and I can't get her out. Auntie could get her out. Auntie doesn't care. Would Auntie care about any of this? Probably not. She'd probably just say accidents happen. Just like she said way back when I didn't want my mom to drive again. She got into 2 accidents that were her fault in one year, and I knew she shouldn't be driving. And Auntie was just like, oh, accidents happen, get a rental car. I bitched about that out on YouTube too. Unbelievable. What am I going to hear next? Seriously. What am I going to hear next? Who knows? The other day they threatened to put her in restraints because she wasn't behaving, and she said it triggered her from when she was put in restraints way back when, back in 2009. Remember, I know the names of every hospital she's been in. I know the drugs she's been on in every hospital. I have it all documented for, for what it's worth. And yes, I do believe her. I don't negate her feelings. I don't negate her poem, whatever, you know. I never do to my mother what Auntie does to me. Let's put it that way. I wish I knew the poem by heart. I've shared it out here enough times. This is the story of the mentally ill, stuck away in hospitals against their will, beaten and abused, lost and confused. They roam these halls lost and lonely, waiting for a kind word from staff or family. I know because it happened to me. It doesn't matter if you have wealth. It doesn't matter if you have bad health. Rich or poor is the same, you see. All you get is a look of pity. I forget the rest. I never can remember the damn poem by heart. It ends when you're labeled crazy in this mental zoo. I remember that in 2009. All of this happened to me, it's true, when you were labeled crazy in this mental zoo. I don't think I could find it in my phone, actually. Maybe I could. Maybe, possibly. Probably not, though. Probably not. I could try to type in Mom's poem, but I don't think that's going to work. Or maybe I could type in Story of the Mentally Ill. Let's try that. Story of Let's see. Did I find it? Story of the Mentally Ill. This is a really honest poem my mom wrote about what it's been like for her. And involuntary committed into mental hospitals half of her life. It's not fun, okay? It hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine. Called Story of the Mentally Ill. This is a story of the mentally ill, stuck away in hospitals against their will, beaten and abused, lost and confused, forsaken by family, God, and man, trying to survive as best as they can, trying to live week to week. Tears in their eyes, afraid to speak, treated mean by doctors, nurses, and patients they meet, worse than a homeless person on the street. Shunned by friends and family, they roam these halls, lost and lonely, waiting for a kind word from staff or family. I know because it happened to me. All they do is... I can barely, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but anyway. My mom has suffered from schizophrenia for half of her life and most of my life. She has repeatedly been involuntarily committed to mental hospitals throughout her life. But recently was the worst for her and for me. She got involuntarily committed 5 times between March 2009 to February 2009. The Prolixin that she had been taking for a very long time apparently just suddenly stopped working. Now she has to take more than one drug, including Prolixin, and in mostly higher doses than the Prolixin that used to be the only psych medication that she had to take. I feel very bad for her. She now has no choice, if she doesn't want her family to have her involuntarily committed again, but to take 20 milligrams of Zyprexa that has already begun to cause my poor previously always slender mom to put on a lot of weight. Zyprexa is notorious for causing huge weight gains in most patients who take it, and especially in patients who are taking the highest prescribed dosage of this drug. My mom wrote this brutally on his poem in September 9. So I talk about the Zyprexa, but she's on other stuff too. Anyway, let's just play this. Why not?
This is a brutally honest poem my mom wrote about one of my being involuntarily committed into mental hospitals half of her life. It's not fun, okay? It hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine. It's called Story of the Mentally Ill. This is the story of the mentally ill, stuck away in hospitals against their will, beaten and abused, lost and confused, forsaken by family, God, and man, trying to survive as best they can, trying to live week to week, tears in their eyes,
afraid to speak,
treated mean by doctors, nurses,
and patients they meet, worse than a homeless person on the street.
Shunned by friends and family, they roam these halls lost and lonely, waiting for a kind word from staff or family. I know because it happened to me. Excuse me. All they do is over-medicate. You
Take a pill for stress and insanity.
I know
because it happened to me.
It doesn't matter if you have
wealth. It doesn't matter if you have bad health. Rich or poor, it's the same you see. All you get is a look of pity.
Shunned by friends and family
just don't care when all you need is for them to be there.
This is your fate
If you're labeled crazy, I know because it happened to me. All of this happened to me, it's true. It's be labeled crazy in this mental zoo.
I put this up.
This is the story of the mentally ill stuck away in hospitals against their will, beaten and abused, lost and confused. They roam these halls lost and lonely. I can't remember the friggin' poem. But I know it's hard to hear.
It's half of her life. It's not fun, okay? It hasn't happened to me, but I can imagine.
Let old Laura speak.
This is the story of the mentally ill.
This is the story of the mentally ill.
Stuck away in hospitals against their will.
Stuck away in hospitals against their will.
Beaten and abused, lost and confused.
Beaten and abused, lost and confused.
Forsaken by family, God, and man.
Forsaken by family, God, and man.
Trying to survive as best as they can.
Trying to survive as best as they can.
Trying to live week to week.
Trying to live week to week.
Tears in their eyes, afraid to speak.
Tears in their eyes, afraid to speak.
Treated mean by doctors, nurses, and patients they meet.
Treated mean by doctors, nurses, and patients they meet.
Worse than a homeless person on the street.
Worse than a homeless person on the street.
Shunned by friends and family.
Shunned by friends and family.
They roam these halls lost and lonely.
They roam these halls lost and lonely.
Waiting for a kind word from staff or family.
Waiting for a kind word from staff or family.
I know because it happened to me.
I know because it happened to me.
Excuse me. All they do is over-medicate.
All they do is over-medicate.
You take a pill for stress and insanity.
You take a pill for stress and insanity.
I know because it happened to me.
I know because it happened to me.
It doesn't matter if you have wealth.
It doesn't matter if you have wealth.
It doesn't matter if you have bad health.
It doesn't matter if you have bad health.
Rich or poor is the same, you see.
Rich or poor is the same, you see.
All you get is a look of pity.
All you get is a look of pity.
Shunned by friends and family who just don't care.
Shunned by friends and family who just don't care.
When all you need is for them to be there.
When all you need is for them to be there.
This is your fate if you're labeled crazy.
This is your fate if you're labeled crazy.
I know because it happened to me.
I know because it happened to me.
All of this happened to me, it's true.
All this happened to me, it's true.
And you're labeled crazy in this mental zoo.
When you are labeled crazy in this mental zoo. By Laura's mama.